Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. Roles. Your job. What makes you effective at your job? What makes you great at your job? Well, the first thing that makes you great at your job is understanding. All right, this is my job. This is what I do, and I'm going to excel at that. When you do that, then we get everybody on the same page. Some teams are fortunate enough to figure that out early, and some teams are fortunate enough to figure that out before it's too late. They might not figure it out as early as other teams, but they don't miss the opportunity, and they're able to figure it out before it's too late. Prime example would be the Boston Celtics. Coming into this season, we had a situation. And the situation was we had two lead singers, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And both of us are bumping into each other at the microphone. Now, we both can sing and we're both awesome, but we got to establish a lead singer. We have to do that. Who's the guy that we're writing the songs for? Okay, it's this guy. Now, we know that we're writing the songs for him, but he also knows that there are times when the songs won't be written for me, and I'm going to be in the back, and I'm okay with that. And it took a minute for that to get established, where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were continuously bumping into each other, and we couldn't figure out exactly who did what, which was why they weren't as good as they are now, because roles weren't established. Okay, what exactly are you going to do? What exactly are you going to do? All right, so now we got to the bottom of that. You're the guy. I'm going to play off you. Marcus Smart, I'm the maestro. I'm the conductor. You do this, you do that, and we're going to roll with you. And it works. And then you have teams where it's automatically established right from the beginning, you're the lead singer. You're the guy we're writing the songs for. We're going to be the background singers. Now, you probably won't get all the songs, but the majority of the songs, we're going to write them for you. And when we get that established, I know what my role is. I'm going to be the second guy. I'm going to be on piano. When we get that established, you see teams take off. And you see teams sustain that. With the Boston Celtics, once that got established, we're talking about a team in the middle of January. I wasn't sure if Udoka was the guy. Not because he couldn't coach, but he was new. He had inherited a team that the second time in 4 years. They had been in the Eastern Conference Championship. He had some really good young talent. And I wasn't sure with his track record, even though he comes from the school of Greg Popovich, I wasn't sure that he was ready for this responsibility. But then he X and O'd me. And then he showed me management skills and how to talk to people. And then it became apparent, I think they have the right guy. I do. I think they got the right guy. And then everybody started to fall into place. Robert Williams accepted his role. I'm a primary rim protector. That's my job. That's what I do. Which is not surprising to me because we're talking about a guy who, when he came out of college, he did lead the SEC in rebounding. That's my job. I'm a primary rim protector and I clean glass. So his role is established. So he's comfortable in his job. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they got their roles established. Marcus Smart, I'm the lead guard. I have my role established. But then we had some other guys on the crew that we weren't really sure about, so they made some mid-season moves, and they ended up bringing in Derek White. Grant Williams turned into who they thought that he would turn into, a solid role player. And he's accepting his role, which would explain why Boston is doing what they're doing. Now, the Miami Heat, that's a completely different animal. And the reason why that's a completely different animal is because roles get established right from the beginning. There is no misunderstanding about what we do around here. None. Now, don't get me wrong, Miami isn't one of those hard-nosed, straight-laced cultures. They have a lot of fun around there. They do. But when it's time to get to work, these guys know exactly what their job is, which would explain why they are who they are. We talk about them basically in second hand, and the reason why we talk about them in second hand because there's no star power. But that's actually a good thing, because what it does is it amplifies how much guys have accepted their role and how much better they are because of it. We all know that Jimmy Butler is our guy offensively, and he's one of the biggest reasons defensively why we are where we are. We all know that. Kyle Lowry, when he's healthy, he's our maestro. There's no misunderstanding about that. Kyle Lowry, he's our maestro. He's the conductor. And now we throw in a bunch of dirty work guys. We got Bam, who's a box worker. We got Bam, who's our primary rim protector and our rebounder. And we can go to him for buckets. So now we've established that. And then we steal guys like Strauss and PJ Tucker, who I stand on this when I tell you, and I've said this in the past, PJ Tucker cannot walk out the front door to South Beach. He can walk out the front door to Indiana. He can walk out the front door to Sacramento or to Portland or to New Orleans. He cannot walk out the front door to South Beach, because that's going to come back to bite you later. You're not winning without the PJ Tuckers of the world, the Marcus Smarts of the world. I don't like those guys. I am 100% certain that every championship team, if not every championship team, any team, if you don't have PJ Tucker, if you don't have Marcus Smart, you're not winning. You're not. I don't care how many good players you have. We need Marcus Smart. We need PJ Tucker. We need the guy that's in the huddle saying, can you stop, can you deal, can you score the rest of the points? I can score the rest of the points. Perfect. I'll deal with 35. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about helping me. I'll deal with 35. You score the rest of the points. Who's the guy in our huddle that's going to get the loose balls? Who's the guy in our huddle that's telling us these guys can't rebound with us? Who's that guy? That's PJ Tucker. That's Marcus Smart. That's Horace Grant. That's Draymond Green. That's Dennis Rodman. That's Udonis Haslem. We're not winning without these dudes, and we need them. And everybody knows it. And more importantly, nobody knows it better than the Miami Heat. Nobody. We get these guys on the cheap, and they do their jobs, and we get overachievers. And because we get overachievers, we get our money's worth. I'm really looking forward to this Miami Heat Boston series. And the reason why I'm looking forward to it is because it's going to be a defensive battle. You got the number 1 and the number 4 defensive team in the game. So we're going to have a battle of wits defensively. How are we going to slow down Jason Tatum? Well, we're not going to be able to rough him up, because that's how they play. They want to play like that, right? In terms of defense, they want to play rough too. They tried to rough up Giannis. It didn't work as well as they thought it would, but it worked. Miami knows that we can't rough these guys up. So what are we going to do? We could go back to what was done in the 90s. A lot of soft doubles. A lot of drop coverage. Well, you can't drop coverage against Boston because they shoot the long ball with the best of them. The pickup point has to be quicker. And it has to be fat. The pickup point has to be earlier with those guys, with the Boston Celtics. And you got to gang rebound. Particularly on the offensive glass. You got to hit the backboard. You got to hit the offensive glass against them, because there's not going to be a lot of second chance opportunities. It's not. So you got to try to hit the backboard with them, because there's not going to be a lot of second chance opportunities. Every shot's going to be tough. So you got to do everything that you possibly can to get second chance opportunities, because there's not going to be a lot of them. I'm really looking forward to this series. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Boston Celtics deal with Jimmy Butler. I think that the Miami Heat have more depth. I think that the Boston Celtics are more talented offensively, possibly defensively. I'm not 100% sure on that, but definitely offensively they're more talented. I think the Miami Heat have more depth. They got 9, 10 guys, solid guys. And I know Eric Spoelstra is going to dig into that bench. And I know he's going to X and O these guys. And that's going to be really important with Udoka. Because this is going to turn into a battle of wits. Oh, absolutely, it's going to turn into a battle of wits. And we're going to see the difference in good coaching and great coaching. We're absolutely going to see that. So I'm really looking forward to this series. And since we're on the subject of dirty work, guys, like I talked about with Draymond Green, I watched that Dallas-Phoenix series, and I'm looking at that Dallas team, and I'm thinking to myself, can they win it? Can these guys actually win it? Well, there was no reason for me to think that early. And the reason why there was no reason for me to think that early, because Dallas was a middle-of-the-road Western Conference team. They were teetering right before the playoffs. They were right around the 4, 5, 6 spot. Maybe a month before the playoffs. That's where they were. I thought that they were a first-round exit. I absolutely believed that they were a first-round exit. They had one elite player and a bunch of okay players who hadn't proven themselves on any level. But then coaching got involved, where Jason Kidd actually coached these guys up. And I think he outcoached Quinn Snyder. And I think he outcoached Monty Williams too. I don't think he's going to be able to outcoach Steve Kerr. I don't think he's going to be able to outcoach Steve Kerr. And I'm having a difficult time going against a vet unit like the Golden State Warriors. Now, mind you, we're talking about a group that, when they're healthy, since the 2014-15 season, when Dre, Clay, and Steph are healthy, and all three of those guys are in the lineup, they've been in the NBA Finals. This isn't the same Dre, Clay, and Steph from 5 years ago, from 3 years ago. You are aware that these three, they've been together longer than Magic, Jabbar, and Worthy. They've been together longer than Scottie and Michael. They've been together longer than Kobe and Shaq. So we're talking about a group who, we've seen this movie, we've been around the block more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. So we know how this works. Now the question is how are they going to handle what Dallas brings to them? Because we're talking about a young, confident group. We're talking about a group in Luka Doncic, who's at the head of that group, who believes that we can beat these guys. Well, how are we going to do it? We're not going to do it just outscoring these guys because we got to get stops. Well, Dallas does that. Dallas is one of the better defensive teams in the game. And it's possible that they can do that because I'm looking at what Desmond Bane and what Dylan Brooks did with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Now, remember who we're talking about when we're talking about Klay Thompson. We're talking about a guy who just 3 months ago just got back in the lineup from not playing for 2 years. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the cheap seats. He hadn't played professional basketball in 2 years. So I wasn't one of those people who was expecting him to just come back and be Klay. But we see the name, Klay Thompson. We see Steph Curry. And we expect them to just get right back to where they were. No. I expected Klay Thompson to just prove that he could hold up. Next season, I'll get back to becoming an elite player again. I'll get back to that. But as of right now, I'm just trying to prove that I can hold up. So now, we're in a position with this group where they have an opportunity to do something special and prove a lot of people wrong. I had the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. The fact that Dallas bounced them is very surprising. And I think that this series is going to be even more fun to watch than in the past because it's a younger group. But the thing that concerns me with this younger group is exactly that, experience. Because I'm trying to think about an NBA team that won with kids at the helm. I haven't seen one that has won with kids at the helm, not one. I've seen some teams win with a young guy or maybe 2 young guys, but I have not seen an NBA team win with kids at the helm. So that's going to be difficult. I think that experience is going to come into play. I think that coaching is going to be a big deal in this series. I'm having a difficult time picking against the Golden State Warriors in this series. Very difficult. But we're going to find out, my man. We are absolutely going to find out. So I'm going to be here for as long as you want me. I'm going to be here for as long as you'll have me. So I'll see you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it.